Hello and welcome to another edition of El Segundo Magazine. I'm Catherine Chen. For many, sailing is the ultimate adventure. Certainly that is the case for one El Segundo High School student who has been sailing nearly half her life. Molly Perlman set sail with this adventure seeker to find out more about her and how other El Segundo High School students can jump aboard this best-kept secret.
King Harbor Yacht Club in Redondo Beach. It's where many locals come to enjoy the world of sailing. It's where El Segundo High School student Margot Okuno discovered her passion for sailing when she was just 8 years old.
I'm a really independent person, so sailing means my freedom. Like, I can go anywhere I want to go on the water. It's so peaceful because there's no motor, there's nothing, it's just silence, and you're just gliding along. Woo!
She's a tough sailor. You know, she's very brave. I mean, she's tiny and she doesn't look too intimidating, but she goes out there in any of the conditions and I've never seen a tear shed.
Circle the boat, do a quick warm up.
She's explained it to me as it's kind of like freedom. She likes to get out there, she's on her boat, usually she has her own tiller, she's got her own control of where she's going and what she's going to do. Her decisions are her own to make, and that's pretty liberating.
1 minute, get ready, 1 minute.
She is inspiring. She's good at it and she knows what she's doing. And you can learn a lot from her from sailing with her.
She is incredibly kind and good-hearted. She is always aware of her teammates. She is always aware of how she can give to her teammates. Especially, she acts as a mentor to the younger kids without even being asked.
Go!
While on the King Harbor Youth Foundation race team, Margot has had the ability to improve rapidly by learning advanced skills and by having the opportunity to practice on a consistent basis.
You know, certainly by high school, you know, there's no coaching during the race. And so you're the only person that is, you know, looking out ahead of you, seeing what's happening on the water, seeing what your competitors are doing, and you have to make your strategic calls based on that, and it's extremely dynamic variables. And so really and truly, all the responsibility and the calls are on you.
It really gives her some skills that are really, really important in life, and we don't all give our children. And that's part of this perseverance and facing failure and overcoming failure and having to do hard things on her own and figure it out without somebody. I can't fix it for her. I'm literally often, you know, a couple of miles away. I can't fix it. She has to self-advocate. And there's just a lot of soft skills that you have to learn to be a decent sailor, and that she's learning, and that's part of what this whole experience is. So I find that very rewarding as a parent to see that.
You know, we try to push ourselves at practice so that when it comes to, you know, day of the regatta, we're ready. We focus on about two different things, speed and boat handling. Boat handling is going to be any maneuver you see on the water, your tacks, your jibes, your penalty turns, which are like your 360s or your 720s, your accelerations off of the starting line. You'll notice, you know, they heel the boat really hard and then they have to flatten in order to get this big burst of speed out of the boat. And FJ sailing in particular, it's a little bit tricky in that there's two people in the boat. So communication is 100% important.
These have made me a better sailor by just being able to work with my teammates and just practicing like on and on with them. And Abby does a great job of also like mixing it up sometimes with practices and who we sail with, so that way we get to like experience new people's like sailing techniques.
Luke, Peter, and Duke versus Margot, Daniel, and Shark.
We also do like drills that have to do with starting lines and going around little buoys on the water so that we can, our boat handling is perfect for the race.
Break overlap, good, now he has to round.
Safety is also heavily emphasized during practices. Margot demonstrated two safety skills that she learned here: capsize recovery and man overboard.
If your crew's in the water, are they okay? You have to use teamwork skills and communicate with each other, make sure everybody's safe.
To no surprise, Margot explained that this isn't always her favorite drill.
Depends mostly on the weather. Sometimes the water can be pretty cold, but most capsize drills are in for the beginner classes to make sure that they know how to flip over a boat and get it back upright, and also so that they know how to swim.
Through the many years that Margot has come to this facility, true bonds have been built.
You know, the older kids will coach through the younger kids, and for her to have that sort of nurturing experience and for her to just shine, and she's turned out to be one of the top crews, it's been awesome as a coach.
You get kind of this brotherly and sisterly bond because you've been through like the freezing cold and really rough conditions, so you get really close to each other, and I feel like I can tell them anything.
One of Margot's goals right now is to build a team so El Segundo can compete in the high school races. Through the King Harbor Youth Foundation, Redondo Union, Maricosta, South Torrance, and Rolling Hills Prep are the only local high schools with race teams. These teams compete in the Pacific Coast Interscholastic Sailing Association Series.
If we can get at least, I think, 3 people to join, then we can start a race team. And then I'm not allowed to do some regattas because I don't have a race team, so that would be really awesome if I could race in those races.
To see what racing with Margot is really like, and being that I'm also a sailor as well, I decided to get in the boat with her and give it a try. Although this was my first time in an FJ. She was very kind, very patient, and a great instructor. She's also a confident yet calm sailor, 2 attributes that I really appreciated.
Round B like the leeward mark, finish between us and the reach mark.
Sailing is really unique in that girls race against guys, and it's this really even playing field to a very high degree. The girls are just as competitive as the guys, and it's one of those few sports that you actually see that. You see girls competing against guys, you see girls kicking guys' butts.
Sailing, to me, it's kind of not like a sport, it's kind of like a necessity to life, because it's become so much part of my life that it's like if I lived without it, it'd be really kind of not the same.
For me personally, I love sailing. It's my meditation. And so it's the only thing that quiets my mind. And it's the only, if I have a terrible day, it doesn't matter. I go out sailing, it's gone.
It's become my passion, absolutely. It's such a humbling sport in that I'm still learning things every single day, and I get to see 80-year-olds going out there kicking my butt. It's just it's a great sport.
The foundation is a nonprofit, and their mission is to provide access to the sport of sailing to local girls and boys 8 to 18 years old of all backgrounds. They gave out over $5,000 in scholarships last year, let alone.
Our race team program is deeply subsidized through fundraising, grants, private donors, corporate sponsors. We really strive to give these kids a home here, and we don't want finances to be the reason why a kid can't sail. To whatever extent possible we can, we try to remove that barrier.
Watching Margot on the water, you can clearly see her passion for the sport. And when she shared her goals for the future, it didn't sound as though she'll be stopping anytime soon.
I just hope that it's my hobby all my life. I'm not expecting to be a professional. I will maybe want to be an author and just sailing on the side.
For El Segundo TV, I'm Ollie Perlman.